Halo 5 is dying.
Well, why you boring me? I'm right.
When I say that sentence, I know I will more than likely receive one of two knee-jerk reactions. One being,
お前はもう死んでいる。
and the other being,
何?
which, let's be honest, the population of Halo 5 is indeed smaller than most of the Halo games in the MCC. But that population is about to get even smaller. You see, I'm currently grinding on Halo 5 multiplayer a lot lately, as I try to finally receive the max rank of 152. And with all that time, I've been thinking a lot about the state of the game now and what it used to be compared to where it's more than likely going to end up. To the Halo 5 is already dead crowd, there is some valid credit to be given on that opinion. I personally have been really lucky to have some good friends, family, and people I've met through the Halo community to help the game feel alive and well. But nights when I get home from work super late, I just want to unwind with a game or two of Halo before bed. If I'm the only one in the fire team, finding a game in most of the available playlists is nearly impossible. Keep in mind, if you do have a fire team of enough people, then these problems become much less of an issue. Games will always be available to you and your friends. However, for most of the Halo 5 online multiplayer, it's a different story. You need to understand that the current state of the game is that of an almost 6-year-old Halo game. The game is the newest thing the players have had until Halo Infinite drops later this year. And with that, there comes a whole slew of different player counts and player reasoning for being a part of the game still. Firstly, you have a group of players that is only grinding for the 152 reward in Halo Infinite. And while for sure these players enjoy Halo, these players would probably also rather be playing the MCC on most days. And whether it be out of pride or a sense of accomplishment, they are choosing to spend their spare time in Halo 5 for that magical number. Next, you'll see the players that enjoy the multiplayer and all of its experiences that can only be found in Halo 5. Whether you're a huge fan of Halo 5 or not, you have to understand that right now, there is a dedicated player base that truly enjoy this game's multiplayer. Then there's a player base who is just playing because they enjoy Halo, and whatever Halo game they feel like playing that day. These players come and go for sure, but they enjoy the variety that comes with hopping on Halo 5 for a couple games a week. The last type of player, in my opinion, is the largest portion of the player base, and that's simply the players who play Halo 5 because it's the newest installment in the Halo franchise. I say this is the largest proportion because this encompasses the quote-unquote casual fan base, and while there are certainly plenty of people that are playing more intensely and more competitively in this category also encompasses the person that just bought an Xbox to play Halo, and to play it for maybe an hour or two a week. It's a very casual approach to gaming that I think a lot of us that are playing Halo every day overlook quite often. I personally like to believe that I'm a little bit of all of these types of players, and I think you might be too. I'm indeed trying to get to max rank, but I also enjoy Halo because it's Halo, and while Halo 5 might in the end be one of the less popular titles in the Halo series, I find it really enjoyable. And also it's the newest game till Halo Infinite, and it's going to be the thing that gets me most hyped for Infinite going forward. So know when I say that I believe Halo 5 is dying, I don't say that in hopes that I want it to die. I adore that game's multiplayer. I just say this in accepting the truth of the situation at hand. At this point, you might be asking, how will it die? Well, I believe that Halo Infinite is the main reason. When Halo Infinite releases, it's going to be the new thing, and the players that continue to play Halo 5 just because it's the newest Halo game will in fact be playing the newest Halo game, which at that time will be Halo Infinite. Not to mention that the Halo Infinite's multiplayer will be free to play, so with the no-cost entry, we'll have no problem at all finding matches for whatever modes that Halo Infinite ends up bringing with it. So I believe that as soon as Halo Infinite is given a firm release date, Halo 5 has an expected death date. Which is sort of to be expected. It is a 6-year-old game that has had its fair share of issues since release. And really, that's just how games in a series go. When a new title comes out, less people tend to play the older game in the series. But this is Halo we're talking about, the Xbox killer franchise, the face of it all. Surely there must be a way to save it, right? Well, I think so, but some changes have to be made to Halo 5 that will require a bit of work from the team at 343. Now, before I get into this, I think it's important to be realistic about this. The more Halo games that release, the more difficult it is going to be to find the type of match on the Halo game you want to play online. The fact that this 20-year-old series has a dedicated player base for each and every single one of its multiplayer titles is nothing short of a miracle. It is a true testament to how Halo stands the test of time and how beloved it is by the community. But losing players to the newer game is the natural order of things, that things fade out over time, and that's okay. So keep that in mind while I go throughout these items. So, in the rest of this video, I'll be getting into a list of things that I think can indeed save Halo 5 from death. First on this list is 343 needs to make requisitions free. For those who are unfamiliar or who just need a refresher, these rec packs are how you get new weapons in a game that help turn the tide of battle. They can range from more powerful weapons to devastating vehicles. These requisitions can be used in all Warzone modes, PvP, or in Warzone Firefight. Now, most packs in the shop do have a free option, and you can buy them with rec points you get by simply playing the game. But this process is extremely slow if you want to play with the higher level and higher rarity recs. If I want to hop in a Phaeton when I pick up the game after not playing it for a while, I should just have one available. So, I understand for balance reasons that it couldn't be that way at launch, but with the smaller player base, this is kind of where it needs to go. And if they're not just simply available, I would need to have to earn recs at a much more accelerated rate. But not only that, I should be able to use my points directly to buy the requisitions I want. I shouldn't have to deal with the system that gives me 30 plasma turrets when all I want is something useful. I should not have to feel the push to buy packs in a game that I have no want or desire to put money into. Halo Infinite is 100% going to have a premium shop, and I would much rather pay money in Halo Infinite than in Halo 5. There is also the option to just make the requisition packs themselves free and have a 0 rec point cost, which would mean that we could just simply keep on going through the packs until we get what we want. This would be monotonous for players, but probably the easiest solution for 343. They're extremely busy on Halo Infinite, so something like this I can't imagine would be too hard to do. And maybe if they do an update like this, they can add some fixes to a lot of the bugs that are still going on in the game. Another solution is that they could just make all the recs available all the time. They could just be pulled out and used as long as you are the appropriate level in a Warzone match. Meaning if you're doing really well in a Warzone match and you have level 6 recs available, all level 6 recs can be selected, not just the items that you have a stock of at that time. Any of these solutions would very much need intervention from 343, and would need coding changes made to the game. Because as it stands, Warzone was made to be a sandbox that favors people who play more or pay more. But what about player count? I already have a hard time finding a match at certain times, so what can be done about that? Well, with Arena, 343 will have to do what they did with previous Halo games for the MCC, and that is to make it a more focused selection of playlists, and to have a search parameter for the player, so they can find and be queued in the type of matches they are interested in playing. This isn't anything new, and honestly, it seems to be working really well. I don't find many issues trying to find a match in the MCC for the more casual playlists. It's usually the competitive ones that are a little bit more difficult. And honestly, that's fine. The competitive scene tends to follow the latest Halo release. And while this isn't always the case, for the most part, that's a trend that we see in every installment of the Halo series. So if Halo 5 Arena just has a limited amount of more competitive playlists and a healthy amount of social playlists, then I can see Arena being just fine throughout the foreseeable future. I feel like between Arena and Warzone, Arena is the one that's easy to maintain. But when it comes to a player count in Warzone, there lies a very different and much harder decision. Regular Warzone requires about 16 players to start a game, but the mode is designed for much more than that. And with Warzone Firefight, 8 players are needed for the more difficult playlists. I've seen it done with less, but the game mode is designed with that many in mind. So to counteract the declining player population, there would need to be some sort of additional feature that helps players feel like they are taking part in the full and complete experience. One way to do this is to add AI Spartans in Warzone modes to help give a little more power to the players. While not a perfect solution, I can see this helping a lot, especially in a year or two where player counts are drastically lower than they ever are now. I know this probably wouldn't happen, as 343 might just see the work involved here as a waste of time, but it is an option. Another thing 343 could do is add difficulty scaling for fire teams with less players. While this might just help a little bit in regular Warzone, this would help a bunch in Warzone Firefight. If you and your friends want to hop on and run a couple matches of Warzone Firefight, you should be able to. So if one of you have 4 players to run a match of Mythic Firefight, the AI spawn rates, enemy power level, or selected missions would all scale to hopefully be as challenging for a 3-person fire team as it would be for the scale of a full 8-man fire team. For example, if you were running a team of 4 Spartans where the game normally spawns 2 grunt goblins, the game would just spawn 1 instead. And yes, I understand the elephant in the room at this point would be the option to bring Halo 5 to the Master Chief Collection and make that game a part of the complete Halo package. 343 has said they have no plans to do this just yet, but I have a feeling its inclusion is inevitable. And with the MCC being available on both PC and console, if this game were to be brought to PC, that would open up an entirely new audience to this game, an audience that would keep the game alive for years. So in the end, do I really think Halo 5 will die? Sadly, the answer is yes. Some things need to happen if the players that currently enjoy this game are going to continue to enjoy it for years to come. And like I said before, there always is custom games for whenever you want to get your friends together for a quick Slayer match in Halo, but that's it. I'm interested to hear your thoughts though. Well, that's it for me today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Do you think Halo 5 is dying? Do you think it's dead already? What are your thoughts on the whole matter? I can't wait to hear from you. As always, if you enjoyed this video, leave the like. It does help out the channel a lot. And consider subscribing for all things Halo. But until next time, my friends, I'll see you online. Vanilla Soup, out.